is a slide rule. This isn't just any old slide rule. This is my slide rule. This is the slide rule I was required to buy as an incoming student at the University of Nebraska in 1971. I will now pause while you calculate my age. Right? And I like to take my slide rule class. I often take it to class, show the students the powerful calculations this simple device will perform. And they're always amazed, always amazed. And invariably, one of the students will raise their hand and ask the question, why did the university force me to buy something like this? The answer? Hand calculators hadn't been invented yet. And that's true. They hadn't been invented yet. And the look on their face is just priceless. You know, their eyes get big and the jaw drops open a little bit, and you can actually hear them think, wow, this guy must be older than dirt. Well, I'm not older than dirt, as you've already calculated. The first handheld scientific calculator came out the next year, 1972. It was produced by Hewlett-Packard. Some of you may remember the calculator. It was the iconic HP 35, first hand calculator on the market. And it came out 1972 at the princely sum of $395 US. That's in 1972. That would be like over $2,000 US today for a simple hand calculator. Well, I couldn't afford that. No way I could afford that. Good news is the next year, Rockwell, a Japanese firm, came out with a hand calculator that pretty much did the same thing, but was at less than half the cost. That I could afford. So I bought one. And that hand calculator changed my life. It literally changed my life. For the first time as an engineering student, I could explore different paths towards the same solution. I could, it took the amount of time it took me to do my homework and my assignments, and it cut it in half. It was transformative for me, but I had to put this old technology down in order to take the true advantage of that new technology. So, I know I see a lot of young people here. I see a lot of people who want to be a young person. So, young people, or people who want to be young, take out your cell phones and take a hard look, careful look at that technology. And consider this. That cell phone that you're looking at, when you are my age, that will be your slide rule. That's right, you're looking at a slide rule. So the question then becomes, will you be able to adapt to that new technology? Will that cell phone you're looking at even exist? What will your future look like, and how will you be able to adapt? Because it's a true statement. All of us in this room have our own slide rules. All of us have had to adapt to new technology, new processes. Our landscape keeps changing. And we know it's through the power of adaptation that lives and organizations and communities are transformed. Our ability to shape tomorrow is born out of our willingness to adapt today. And that is ASHRAE's theme for this year. adapt today to shape tomorrow. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to create a future for our tomorrow? I think we need to address 3 broad goals in order to make that happen. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. Now I'm going the right way. No, I'm not. There. Now I'm going the right way. Here's our first one. We're going to adapt ASHRAE resources to develop the visionaries of tomorrow. This has 3 initiatives that go with it. Initiative number 1, we are going to launch an ASHRAE University educational platform. This is going to be an online platform where all of ASHRAE's world-class educational products can be found, so you can select the educational products you want to further your professional goals. This portal will also have a personalized dashboard available so that you can create a dashboard that charts your progress towards some goal. Perhaps it's certification, perhaps it's a license. It may be a goal outside of ASHRAE. It could be a goal that your employer has set for you. So now you have a way of showing your employer that you're progressing towards some goal. Our second initiative, we're going to implement new courses, endorsements, certificates. First new course out of the box is going to be a course on consulting engineering essentials. Consulting engineers represent about 1/3 of our membership, and we're going to develop this course based on the template we used for our HVAC Essentials course, which has been very successful. So we're going to take practicing professionals, we're going to take world-class educators, and we're going to pair them up to create a course so that those that are entering this important discipline have the skill sets they need to be effective and productive right away. Our third initiative, we are going to develop and implement an internship program. This is going to be a program that's going to be online. It's going to be a part of the ASHRAE University experience. This is where we're going to pair our student branch members with our employers worldwide. Like all of our efforts, it'll be a global effort. Now, internship programs, I think, are really critical to our industry. This is one of the ways we entice young men and women to join our industry, by showing them the passion and the importance of our work. Moreover, our research has shown that 95% of all the employers out there are looking for real-world experience on a resume when they go to hire somebody. Well, how is a student going to get that? It'd be through an internship program. Now, on top of that, our research has shown for you employers, if you hire an intern, 68% of the time you end up offering that intern a full-time job, and 85% of the time that job is accepted. So employers out there, how would you like to be in an environment where your job offer is accepted 85% of the time? I think that's a win-win for both the student branches and the employers. I'm obviously a real big fan and supporter of internship programs. As many of you know, I came out of an internship program as such. I went to work out of college for our family firm. It was a small family firm in Nebraska. It was a mechanical contractor. It was named after my great-grandfather. And I remember distinctly my first day at work. I walked into my dad's office, and that, by the way, is a picture of my dad. My dad is 91 years old. And if you look carefully at the photograph, you can see that at 91 years of age, he is still conducting research in indoor air quality. So I walk into his office and I say, okay, Dad, what do you want me to do first? And he said, first thing you're going to do is you're going to get in your car and you're going to go drive 60 miles away, Omaha, and you're going to join the Nebraska chapter of ASHRAE. That's the first thing you're going to do for this company. And I remember standing there, and I finally said to my dad, okay, I've got two questions. Number one, what is ASHRAE? I've never heard of it. Number two, why would I join? And it's that second question that sometimes we struggle with, right? We know the passion we have for our work. We know its importance, but sometimes it's hard to express it. And I'll never forget my dad's response. He said, look, you go to an ASHRAE meeting. You walk in that room. And in that room, you will find the architects and engineers we work for. You will find the building owners we serve. You will find the vendors we buy from. And you will find our competitors. You need to be in the room. Need to be in the room. I think that's exactly what ASHRAE brings to you. You need to be in that room. And so, how do we create a future for our society where you need to be in the room? And that takes us to our second broad directive. We are going to adapt ASHRAE investments to energize our chapters and engage our members. This also has three initiatives that are underway. First one is an opportunity fund. And this is already done. We've already created the Chapter Opportunity Fund, and we've already distributed the money to the regions. And we have empowered the regions to distribute the money the way they feel is best to energize their chapters, to engage their members. So the Danube chapter is part of the region at large. Farouk Mahboub, who's the director and regional chair, has already received the check. That region's got the money, and we are looking for ideas from the chapters in the region at large that we can fund to help energize those chapters. I think this is going to be one of the best initiatives we've unveiled. I'm looking forward to seeing you all, of course, in Las Vegas. And at Las Vegas, I'm going to show up on the screen some of the better ideas that we've got from our regions that we've funded. So this I think is going to be great. Initiative number 2 is form a leadership academy. This is a leadership academy where we're going to bring the best and the brightest from our chapters from around the world, and we're going to put them in a room together where they can network and share best practices. Also in the room will be men and women from our society that have proven the ability to manage people and lead organizations. And this is how we're going to make sure that the young people coming up in our society have the ability to hone their management leadership skills, to take the reins of this society, to take the reins of their respective firms. This Leadership Academy is underway. It's been assigned to Members Council. You'll be able to sign up for your first Leadership Academy in the spring of 2017. And the third initiative, near and dear to my heart, we are going to adapt ASHRAE's Building EQ, Building Rating Program, for use by our student branches. Now this is going to do two things. It's going to teach our students how to do an energy audit, how to do building benchmarking and disclosure, how to apply for an ASHRAE Building EQ label. At the same time, we're going to ask the student branches to use our product on a building in their community that gives back to the community, so that building owner might be a food bank, could be a homeless shelter, could be anything, could be a building on campus. And we're going to show that building owner the power of ASHRAE technology and how this product can help them save energy and thus save money. This has been assigned to a presidential ad hoc committee. I know they're hard at work. This online course, which will be available to student branches worldwide for free, will be available in January, just 2 months. So this is another initiative that's ready to be launched. Now these last 3 initiatives are brand new initiatives. These are things that ASHRAE has not done before. And anytime you do something that's brand new that you haven't done before, sometimes it can be kind of scary, right? Kind of frightening. And I learned the importance of that lesson as a young man working construction. I started working at construction when I was 16, helped pay for school. And my first job, I was an apprentice pipe insulator, right? And I remember my first day on the job. I showed up, my boss, foreman, comes up to me and says, "Oh, okay, Wentz, you've got 2 major flaws." Actually, I think he said, "You have at least 2 major flaws. Number 1, you're an apprentice. It's the lowest level you could possibly get. Number 2, you're the boss's son. It's not a good combination." Well, he soon found out I had a 3rd flaw. I do not like heights. I do not like heights at all. Some would tell you that's why I'm no taller than I am. You don't want to be any further from the floor, right? Well, as soon as the crew figured out I don't like heights, every job on that project that had a ladder or a scaffold, that was my job. And so one day the foreman comes running up to me, he says, "Wentz," he said, "there's a built-up air handler right over there, and on top of that unit is some piping that needs your attention. Now, crawl up there and get to work, because the journeymen are on their way." And he pointed to a really big built-up air handling unit. And that thing was, at least 3 meters tall. And leaned up against it was a ladder that was like 2 meters tall. And I said to the foreman, "Well, how's that work? How am I going to get on top of that big thing with that little ladder?" And he said, "Oh, Wentz, stop crying. I mean, there's a conduit that runs across the top of that unit. Just get up on top of the ladder and reach up, grab the conduit, and pull yourself up. Now go get to work." I said, "Now wait a minute. Wait a minute. I understand how I can get up, but I don't understand how I'm going to get down." And he said, "Oh, Wentz, stop whining. All you have to do is go to the edge, turn yourself around, grab that same pipe, and back your way down. I'll be there for you. I'll help guide your feet to the top of the ladder. Now, stop making excuses and go get to work." So off I went, climbed up there, got my job done, come back. Now I want you to understand, I went to the edge and I looked to make sure my foreman was there and my ladder was there, turned myself around and started to back myself down. And just after I got past the point of no return, I see one of the other workers running off with my ladder. And so I started screaming at this guy. I said, "That's my ladder, bring my ladder back." He just smiled and waved, and off he went with my ladder. Now I'm screaming at the foreman. "That guy stole my ladder. What am I going to do?" And he said, "Oh, Wentz, stop being so dramatic. It's not that far to the floor. And besides, I've moved most of the pipe and fittings out of the way." So what could I do? There was nothing to do. I just hung there. I just hung there as long as I could. And then, of course, eventually, I could hang there no longer. And I fell. About 1 inch on another ladder the foreman had put underneath me. Oh, the crew loved that. They thought that was the funniest thing they'd seen in weeks, if not months. You know, the apprentice just hanging there forever. But aren't we all like that? Don't we all want to hang on to things that are safe and comfortable as long as we can? So how do we create a future for our society where it's okay to let go and adapt? And this brings us to our third major goal for our society here. We're going to adapt ASHRAE technology to produce an immediate direct benefit to our members. It's also got 3 initiatives. First initiative is we're going to create a technology portal that will link all of our technical products and put them right at your fingertips. Now, you may or may not know this, but ASHRAE is a society since 1959, in today's money, has invested over $150 million US in research just for us. That is research just for the HVAC and our industry. But how do you get access to the fruits of that research? The research papers, the transactions, the journal articles. That's what this portal will do. Put that right at your fingertips. This has been assigned to the Electronic Communication Committee. This portal will be available to you by the end of the year. That means at the end of this month, this portal will be available. Very proud of that. Initiative number 2, we're going to develop application guides written specifically for practicing professionals. These aren't going to be, great big thick books. These aren't going to be written in code language or standards language. This is going to be written by practicing professionals for practicing professionals. This is how we're going to show you how to apply ASHRAE technology. This has been assigned to the Publications Committee. Work is underway. By January, just 2 short months, you'll be able to see a listing of the application guides we're going to be producing. You'll be able to buy your first application guide by June of 2017. And then finally, we are going to expand, and I must say greatly expand, our app portfolio. This is the way that we're going to take ASHRAE technology, putting it at your fingertips so that you have access to our standards, our guidelines, our user manuals, those things that you need to ensure that you are as effective, efficient, and productive as we can make you. This has also been assigned to Publications Committee. The first app is ready to be rolled out this month. So by the end of this month, you'll be able to see a listing of all the new apps that we're going to provide for you. So that's how we're planning on creating a future where it's okay to let go. So what can you do with all this? Well, you can do a lot. Okay? You can hire an intern. You can become more active in your chapter. You can make a commitment to apply ASHRAE technology to your communities. We can do this. We can do this. But in order to do it, we are going to have to unlock the power of adaptation. Because we know the greater risk is in not adapting. It is no different than me and my slide rule, right? This was an important part of my life in 1971, but I realized the greater risk for me was in not putting it down and not picking up that brand new hand calculator. That was true for me as an individual. That's true for us as a society. The greatest risk we face is our resistance to change. That's why we must adapt today to shape tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. And now, let me introduce